Hello and welcome to Efficient Strategy Gaming. Today we're going to be playing Bulgaria on Elite Ironman mode with Historical AI. This is post Battle for the Bosporus, Hearts of Iron 4 DLC. So let's get into it here. I'm going to show you a min-maxing guide here. The Bulgarian focus tree is vast and is very complicated. So I want to show you the best way to maximize the focus tree. And the first thing we're going to go here is power to the Tsar. And basically what we're going to do with this is stay non-aligned, stay with Tsar Boris because he's a handsome gentleman and he's also a badass, a great historical figure for Bulgaria for sure. Okay, we've reached 10 political power. The first thing that we want to do here is improve relations with the UK, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And we'll continue on here. So our research, we're going to go mobile warfare, electronic mechanical engineering, and basic machine tools. Mobile warfare is because we're going to go a cavalry-only build. We're also constructing two civs, and that is to make sure that we're able to get our intelligence agency build. So we'll get into that a little bit later. And just to prove that Bulgaria cavalry only is the way to go, you'll see that we have Ivan Markov here, who has cavalry leader. So you get 10% cavalry attack, 10% cavalry defense when you get cavalry expert. And we also have Miov as the only field marshal, who is an excellent attacker. And you're able to build him into offensive doctrine and organization first, which is what I always combine with mobile warfare to make the best build. Okay, so we have power to the Tsar. And the next thing that we're going to do here is support Macedonian Organizations. And so what this is going to do is modify or give us the ability to modify the IMRO by -0.3 political power gain. So we're going to get rid of that modifier, but stability, the negative stability and improved relations opinion is going to stay. So what I want to do is make sure, okay, we have 80 opinion from the UK. So we can stop improving relations at this point with the UK. And we'll continue down this line here. And after we get support Macedonian Organizations, you're going to get 2 new events and decisions. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention to you, just to prove to you that Bulgaria cavalry only is the way to go, you have a cavalry genius here. Cavalry attack plus 15, cavalry defense plus 15%. So very powerful. Let's get into this. Okay. So you have make contact with IMRO members, and so you're going to get daily political power gain of 0.3. Don't do that. What we want to do is pressure to lift army restrictions. If you go this first, in my testing, I believe that you need more opinion from the UK, and it's less likely that you're able to pressure the UK to lift the army restrictions. And so what this is going to do is get rid of army restrictions here, -25% factory output. So I bet you're thinking like, what the heck, where are we going here with this? Well, it's to get rid of this major debuff right off the bat. So they've given us that option here. So let's see where we're at. We're down to Bulgaria's opinion, UK opinion of Bulgaria down to 17. And it's a random event, so if you do this first and you don't get it to proc, basically you can do it again. But here I lucked out. I only had 17 positive opinion from the UK, and we still removed the army restrictions. And as you can see, it's gone. The next thing we want to do is to get rid of the daily political power gain debuff. And we're going to dissolve the military union. So in Hearts of Iron 4, Battle of the Bosporus, Bulgaria, you're going to see this faction management screen here, and all you need to know is that there's 4 different factions and you want to remove 3 of them as fast as you can. The nationalists, socialists, the National Social Movement is basically the fascists, and if you buff them, you do get increased stability, and if you remove these 3 factions at the top, you gain increased stability and political power, so it's quite powerful, but we're going to wait to touch any of these events, and I'll tell you why later. Worker strikes, basically you're going to get those because those different factions are causing these strikes, so we will crush them at any cost, and we're going to take a little hit to stability here, and then some of our civilian factories are also going to get hurt a little bit. Okay, so those civilian factories get hurt, we get the workers' strikes, but then that's going to go away fairly quickly. And we're keeping an eye here on political power gain, so after we dissolve the military union, we can get back to buffing our political power gain. So there the strikes go off. So they do hurt, but just for a little bit. We are also repairing our factories and infrastructure there. I have to point out that I am only building infantry equipment at this point, and we are trading 1 civilian factory for steel from Germany. And we only have 4 civilian factories. I guess it would be 6 at this point, so you're not really getting a lot of construction at all. Therefore, I'm also not buffing my construction through research because it's going to do very little for us. Okay, so we can dissolve the military union now. We have political power enough to make contact with IMRO members, and that's going to give us that political power gain. And as you can see here, we can start adjusting this Veno faction, but we don't want to yet. So the next thing we're going to do is the Tsar's regime. And basically, what this is going to do is change our popularity a little bit up and then decrease stability again, but really it's just a stepping stone. We need to get down here to strengthen the royal dictatorship. And to get there first, we need to go illusions of a non-partisan system. So what we're going to do to get there is go promote Bulgarian nationalism, and then we'll have access to illusions of a non-partisan system, which also decisions cost to activate any faction decision is halved. So at that point, we can start dealing with the faction decisions. Okay, what else we got here? Concentrated industry first. We're in a very small nation. We are not going to do a royal visit to Varna. And in order, the other thing that we need to do is we need to have the Democratic Party have a 20% support. And the fastest way of getting that support is by going the Democratic Reformer right off the bat here. So as soon as we complete this focus tree badge, we'll immediately get the Democratic Reformer. One of the reasons why we're not doing the royal visits here, which can increase or decrease stability, but there's a better chance for you to increase stability, is that that will affect the popularity of the Democratic Party. Okay, so we have enough political power. We get the Democratic Reformer, and this Democratic popularity will start increasing. So hopefully what we can do here is go straight to illusions of a non-partisan system, and then that allows us to immediately start going after these factions' decisions here after we get it, but we do need that Democratic Party popularity. If we don't get that, what we can do is do limited women's suffrage. And we could get Dimitrana Ivanova, but I would not suggest it because, and she does increase Democratic Party popularity and stability, but the stability gain did not seem to be that effective. So I would not go her. Okay, basic machine tools next. So what we can do in the meantime is restrain paramilitary organizations. And basically what that's going to do for us, we can actually pick, let's go free trade, since we are able to. Okay, it really didn't affect the amount of resources we have at all, but it did buff our military factory production and our research by 5%, so that is very useful. And the restrained paramilitary organizations is extremely powerful, and the thing to note here is that it grants us weekly manpower of 500. So if you have to do what I'm doing and you can't get down to illusions of a non-partisan system, then go over here to restrain paramilitary organizations. It is very good because, as you can see, we have 0 manpower. Another thing to note is we were unable to change our division templates, but now, as you can see, we're able to change the division templates. So the next political advisor that we're going to go to is the military theorist, so that we can start organizing our templates better. So let's acquire modern tools here. And while that's teeing off, then we'll get enough popularity to continue on. It's always best to get your war goals through the focus tree. Okay, we're actually going to go delay here. Just trying to buff our military functionality here. And this is the first time I've done this, but if you left click on the Democratic Reformer and then hit OK, you remove him. First time I've had to do that playing A Country in Hearts of Iron 4. It was better. And we can do illusions of a non-partisan system here. And it looks like we have Democratic Party popularity of 25%, so we overshot there a bit. So we just want to get something cheap for research right now. And you do not start off with artillery. So let's go ahead and start off by researching artillery, and then we'll probably go guns and then radio next. Okay, illusions of a non-partisan system. So that's going to give us a gain base stability of 10%. Stability is awesome. And Tsar Boris modified by 10% political power gain. So that'll end up over here under this area. Okay, we have another person to add. So we're going to get that military theorist. And after these decisions are halved, the cost of them are halved. Then we are going to start doing the decisions. So I believe that if you do the decisions while they are expensive, you definitely don't get as much political power out of it. And the only thing that these factions are doing so far is they're getting those strikes, which do hurt our construction, but we don't have, like I said before, we don't have a lot of construction anyways. Agrarian popularity rising, so if some of these random events had occurred in a different sequence, I could have gotten this a lot earlier. And as you can see, the Democratic Party popularity is quite a bit. And this is throwing this off a little bit just due to the random events. So what we're going to do, the next thing we need to do is increase strengthen the royal dictatorship, which means that we need 70% support for Tsar Boris loyalists, which in other words is non-aligned faction. So what we're going to need to do here is go limited women's suffrage, which changes in popularity of non-aligned 15%. So that's a good way of changing that. We're probably going to need to do a few other things besides that in order to gain non-aligned popularity. So let's start doing the royal visits, and hopefully we don't lose stability and non-aligned popularity. Okay, so that helped us out. Next, we're going to start going after the Zveno first. They're easy to pick on after you've completed that focus tree. And I'm going to depose the Zveno generals first. So that's 10 political power. And then I believe the next thing we have to do is discredit them. Let's see what comes up here. Okay, so we can rally against the Zveno. And then we can imprison the Zveno leaders. And then I believe we can crush them. Okay, Operation 2 imprisons Zveno leaders, a disappointing outcome. So now I believe we need to raid Zveno supporters. So we're at 40 political power. Okay, limited women's suffrage, and we can't strengthen the royal dictatorship yet. So what we want to do is go over to Bulgarian Irredentism. So you're kind of going through this. This is not optimal. I wish I would already been able to go strengthen the royal dictatorship here. But since we're taking what the game is giving us here, and these random events didn't help us out, we will modify the second national catastrophe here to get rid of that negative weekly stability buff. We're getting all the things that we're going to need. Okay, so destroy this Zveno, we're going to need popularity of this Zveno to be 0. And then we can destroy them. So I think this is 50 and that's 60. And then we're going to get 120 political power. Unless that's randomized as well. And this has been a really unlucky playthrough for me. So if you guys are a little more luckier than I am, or a lot more, you should be able to do a lot better. And again, we're on Elite Iron Man mode. So if you're on regular mode, you're going to do a lot better, even more better. So let's see here. We get 120 political power. So it seemed to be 60 in and 120 out. So we gain a net 60, gain stability 10%, change in popularity of non-aligned 10%. And it looks like the other factions get a little buff. So let's see what happens here. Okay. We are not worried about any of the other factions. So let's do another royal visit. Whenever that comes up, do that first, because we're going to get, hopefully, non-aligned party popularity, as we did there. It can go negative. It can go up to a positive of 10% party popularity and stability. But then you can also get a positive, so it's a positive 10%, 5%, and then there's also a chance of you getting a negative 5%. So it is random. So don't gamble with it early, because you need all these political things to go perfect. And it was a little bit of a gamble because I was close to 75 there, but it could have been okay. Because I would have been down to, if I got the negative modifier, I would have been down to 70%, and I still would have been able to strengthen the royal dictatorship. Okay, so now we want to start going through here, and we want to repress the agrarian union. Okay, and we have our civilian factory, so it's time to reveal to you what we're doing here. So remove the steel that you're getting from Germany. Go to Intelligence Agency. Create the Intelligence Agency. Actually, you didn't need to remove it yet. We'll need to remove it next. Let's tack that back on there. And then we're going to do the good old military factory buildings. Okay, at this point, We've got a lot of political power. I don't know that we need it. There's not really many people to get here because this guy, Bozalov, we're not building civilian factories anymore, so there's really no point in getting him. And we're not at war yet, so there's no point in getting military staff. And we're starting to get positive on the manpower front, so I'm loving that. So let's just stay here. We could do improved worker conditions, but I think that after we ban all these factions, we're going to get up to around 90% stability. And after you get around to 90% stability, there's really no point in buffing it. You get diminishing returns. Socialists here. Let's just start discrediting whoever they'll allow us to discredit. And once they get low enough, we're going to be able to, once the popularity goes low enough, we're going to be able to ban the media. And then banning the media doesn't allow them to do, let's see here, completing this decision will prevent further cooperation with this faction. Okay. Now we're going to go to cryptology department and we're going to stop our trade of steel with Germany. So this is going to be my patented cryptology build where we basically go radio interception group, government cipher, then stop. And the reason why we built those two civs was just to get the cryptology department done there. And now we're going to found the Brannick, but it would have been better if I had remembered to approach Germany. So let's improve relations with Germany. And then we're going to get like the most OP thing about this build. Okay, so we are going to have to... So to complete supply IMRO activists, we need at least 1,000 infantry equipment stored in the stockpile and at least 100 support equipment. So we're almost there. So the next thing we need to do is build a little bit more support equipment. And what I found was if we stayed on support equipment since the beginning of the game, what tends to happen is you get like 600 and then you can't use them because your army's not big enough. So I think this way of doing it is fine. It's probably a more optimized way of building that. Okay, operation to imprison agrarian union leaders. They won't be able to cause us more trouble. And we formed the department. So now we can go back and trade with Germany for the steel. And we have an operative. So we have some Tsar loyalists here. This guy is kind of a badass, Vladimir Zaimov. And I guess I'll reveal to you what we're doing. Sneakily enough, we should be able to go for Yugoslavia first. Because Yugoslavia is like guaranteeing everyone else. Why did I say Yugoslavia? I mean Romania is guaranteeing everyone else, but no one's guaranteeing Romania. They do have an intimidating military, but it does not function that effectively. And I know that sounds hard to believe, but we should be able to do this. Let's raid next, because that's going to give us an increased amount of debuffs here to the agrarian union supporters. And we can also do cryptology. Okay, so we should be able to get, let's see here, another operative. Okay, we just need to keep going here. So political advisor costs negative 25%. So the next political advisor that we get, we're going to wait till after we found the Brannick, because that'll save our political power. So we can destroy the agrarian union there. We're going to get even more political power. And like I said before, it pays to go in this exact sequence. And, you know, I told you guys what to prioritize. And obviously, it's going to be different with every build. And I guess that keeps it a little fresh for playthroughs and things like that. Okay, they're gone for good. 120 political power, 10% stability, and change in popularity of non-aligned 10%. Woof. Got that. Let's discredit the broad socialists. Okay, so we found the Brannick, and next we're going to approach Germany. Let's go ahead and get the elusive gentleman if we can here. He was hiding up there at the top. So, Stefan Nedev, operative slots 1, agency upgrade time negative 25%. Boom. See if we can't get rid of them. Oh, and we can supply the IMRO activists. And we're going to get less trade deals and less opinion of us. We will provide arms to IMRO so that they can infiltrate Yugoslav and Greek Macedonia and destabilize the region. All right, let's do it. So as Pillbox 20 says, they're all going to hate us. But it doesn't matter, because it's just a game. Okay. Gotta get lost in all these screens now. Okay, destroy the broad socialists. It took some time, yeah, that sucked. Let's do a royal visit, and then I'm not going to legalize the National Socialist movement. Let's just leave this alone. I don't want the fascists to get too powerful. It's a little scary. All right, got another 5% there, and we're done with all this stuff. This, and then the most broken part about this build, we're going to be able to approach Germany and get a ton of arms for them. So you can activate, purchase German artillery, military vehicles, aircraft, infantry equipment, and armor. So let me show you how this works, and then I'll end the video here. I'm going to go to events and decisions. And with all the political power that you gain here, you can spam this out. So as far as I know, someone can correct me down in the comments below. But as long as Bulgaria exists and as long as Germany exists and we're not at war with each other, it's go time, baby. So the first thing we're going to get here is purchase German infantry equipment. So I think it's Gewehr 98s. So it's going to be the older infantry equipment, but it's still equipment, and it's free. Just 25 political power. Effects when removed, 1K units of German infantry equipment is added to the national stockpile. Add -1 off-map civilian factory for Germany. So it slows down Germany as well. We're going to purchase German artillery. 100 units of towed artillery. And then we can purchase motorized units or armored cars. Let's go for motorized. Purchase German armor. We can only hope to build light armor, if anything. And then if you purchase fighters, 40 fighters will consume more fuel than the TAC bombers. But you'll get more bang for your buck in terms of production cost if you buy the fighters, because they are ME-109s. So that's going to be a fighter 1 there. And then we're building fighter 1s too. Let me double check here. Nope, still interwar. Okay. So we should start researching fighter 1s. We don't have the production anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, so we can stop this. And we can start getting towed artillery. Perfect. Let's make a division here. Okay, duplicate, and then go ahead and we're going to go Cav Arty. And we'll give them that symbol right there, and we're going to give them support artillery. And so then we can start training. Let's see how many artillery units they use. 12, so we could probably train like 7. Yeah, something like 7. And then filter them in with the rest of our divisions for our war against Romania. And then from here, you're going to have to watch the second video to see where I go from here. But we are very well positioned, and once we're at war, we can get war industry and change our economic law to war economy without spending political power. So all the extra political power from here on out is going to go for these foreign equipment purchases. And as you can see, our political power change is 2.49 per day. The game here, demand our historical claims, so we're going to do that. And Germany will support us. Opinion of German Reich, 35. Prearranged Bulgarian territorial expansion. So we're going to get core on Dobruja, Macedonia, Thrace, and 2 others. And as you can see here, if we justify a war goal, we can take claim state, and it only takes us 105 days. If World War II starts and world tension is higher, it'll take a lot less than that. And that is the Bulgaria min-max build there. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and I'll see you on the next one.